welcome. I am so excited to have these two recent alum here with us, Miguel and Alexa, who were both very active in our program. If you look back at kind of articles that have been written across time, they both are faces that you will see. And so I'm just going to open it up to them because they're the best people to tell their stories. So I will let you all decide who goes first, and I'm going to go ahead and mute myself and let you take it away.
I'll, I'll go ahead and start. My name is Alexa Shipman. Like you mentioned, I just graduated this past, winter. Right now, I am actually doing marketing and just social media for a real estate company. That's not really what I went to school for, but the communication studies program definitely taught me a lot about how to reach mass amounts of people and how to, really engage with audiences, whether that be in person or through social media. I got in with a real estate company because I was going to school also for my real estate license. So it was kind of a mix of both worlds there. Right now, I'm thinking about going to grad school. I want to pursue a PhD in psychology, kind of in like counseling. So my communications program has definitely helped me kind of find that I wanted to be able to talk to people and also help them in, all those areas of life. So that's what I'm doing right now, just kind of in that weird gray zone between just graduated and grad school. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be able to, continue my educational career and use all the skills I gained in my communications program to kind of bounce off and go do other great things.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Miguel. I am a recent graduate as well. I graduated the spring of 2020 in the midst of all of this pandemic madness. I honestly was really scared at the time when I graduated just because everything was so uncertain and I didn't know what to do. I had recently just came from abroad. I did do semester at sea in the fall of 2019. And so starting in the spring of 2020, I thought I had everything figured out, was going to go to graduate school and continue my higher education and move out to DC, but that did not happen. And it was totally okay because if there's anything that the communications department taught me is really know how to rely on your network and really understand how to find those opportunities using rhetorical agency, which is incredible. I don't know if any of you have taken any of those rhetoric classes to this day, but those were probably one of like the toughest but most interesting courses that I took in my undergrad. And I dreaded even taking one of those prior to kind of signing up for them, just because of things that I've heard from friends and stuff like that. I was like, those classes sound really hard. I'm trying to avoid them at all costs, but they ended up being one of my favorites. And the reason why it became one of my favorite courses was because of how much information and relatable it is to your communities, to yourself, to your career goals, whether that is doing community service type of work, so any public service, career field that you're looking at, any marketing field that you're looking at, it's really going to teach you how to adapt and appeal to people. Or if you're looking to branch out into organization, administration and stuff like that, it's really going to teach you about how to find those foundations of building upon in a community and what do you necessarily need to succeed. So kind of really gaining all that information, I really buckled down on myself and I was like, what do you want? What do you want to do? And so at this point, I was just really looking for opportunities that are going to help me grow. And so following that summer, I decided to do a service with AmeriCorps and was a teaching fellow for 2 months with middle schoolers in Colorado and New England, which was insane just to see how the world of virtual teaching on the student side, I know I'm definitely with you, and some of you might agree with this, is that we definitely hate it. It's definitely not for us. But I also do understand now that it's also not the best cup of tea for our educators. And Dr. Elizabeth, thank you so much for doing the best out here with the resources that we have. So we definitely acknowledge that and we appreciate that. So I definitely got to see a little bit of how all of that is working. And then once that summer ended, I started my graduate program. I decided to stay at CSU and pursue a master's in public policy and administration to kind of continue my endeavors in rhetoric and kind of community engagement piece. And I was fortunate to also have landed a job at CSU as well as an admissions counselor. So while in my undergrad, I was an admissions ambassador, and I also worked really close with our transfer team. So kind of doing a lot of outreach to prospective students, showing CSU, doing a lot of work with that. And I fortunately landed a job now as an admissions counselor. So right now I'm juggling quite a bit, even though we are in the middle of a pandemic. And I'm just so grateful for those opportunities. But it honestly came down to what I learned in my undergrad and all of those opportunities that came from knowing my professors and those bits and pieces that sometimes we find really dreadful, but understanding how does this combine into our own personal lives. You're muted, Dr. Elizabeth.
Of course I am. Thank you. It's going to happen at least once a day, right? Um, Wonderful. Thank you both for sharing your stories. I would love to open it up to questions. This is a good group, so I know they'll have questions eventually. It just might take a little bit.
I'm definitely listening. I'm just really, my brain's right now not processing like question thinking right now.
It's okay.
I do want to say I appreciate you both being here, and I'm glad you both were able to find careers in all these pathways amidst the quote unquote end of the world. um, I guess I would say is what kept you guys motivated throughout all of this? What was like a big motivator? Because I know it can be kind of hard to have self-reliance. So what made you guys go out there and still say, you know what, I'm gonna give it my best shot?
Well, for me, I personally never did well in my educational career before coming to CSU. I really struggled in middle school and high school, and just grades and my education weren't my top priority. So once I got to CSU, everything kind of just like clicked, not only because I'm paying tons of tuition, but because I just knew that if I wanted to further myself and further my life and really give myself the best chance and shot at getting into a career that I loved and was passionate about, I was going to have to just buckle down and give the communication studies department my all so that I could, eventually pave my own way and really do what I want to do and not just be working a mundane 9 to 5.
At least for me, a huge motivator was kind of my own identities, but also the circles around me. I am a first generation scholar. I'm Latino. I also am part of the LGBTQ community. And so I think representation for me is such a huge thing, and seeing it amongst others. And so, at least for me, I didn't necessarily recognize a lot of representation well in my undergrad, but as I started growing, I did start seeing like pinpointing certain things, certain characteristics that I enjoyed from others, and really building upon that. And so I could have easily just called it a day, called it good, but I did know that I wanted to be that inspiration for others as they were an inspiration to myself. And so I decided to kind of really keep pushing forward. And I think the biggest motivator, again, kind of was those circles that you surround yourself with. So if I could give you any advice, is definitely make sure you are finding a really good foundation with your friends, because these people are not only going to be your friends right now, but this is also your network that you're building right now in your undergrad. And you want to make sure you are making sure you have this opportunity to grow with them, and also make sure you're seeking out mentors that are able to provide you with advice, provide you with a different look at life that you don't necessarily have at this time, but you're working towards. Make sure you're reaching out to your professors. And I know that one might be a little cliche because everybody tells you, like, reach out to your professors, but seriously, make sure you are talking to them. Let them know your career goals, your aspirations, and manifest it all. Just because I know another cliche in there, Miguel, you're such full of cliches, but trust me, they are so true to every extent. No dream is too small or too big, so just make sure you manifest it. Right now in my dream board, I'm working towards being a Secretary of Education of the United States, but I'm like, that's so far, like that's so unattainable. But kind of looking at the steps that we're doing, I'm like, we're on the right path. Like we're doing this. And again, just making sure who's in your circle supporting you and how are you also supporting those members in your circle is something that you also have to acknowledge. So huge motivator is definitely make sure the first person that is motivating is yourself. Why are you doing it and why do you want to do it? And the second one is, do you have a good support system that is helping you and you're also providing to that support system as well?
Awesome. Thank you both for answering that. I appreciate that.
Um, Miguel, I was wondering, did you teach or lead orientation?
I did not teach it, but I was an orientation leader.
Leader. Okay, I think I had you. You were great. And also, I love all your cliches as well. And I've just noticed you're really confident and just kind of natural public speaker. And I was curious what college experiences helped you develop that skill and if that you were always that way.
Really, really great question. So I don't think I was a natural born public speaker at first. It definitely took some skill and some practice. If you did not know me outside of like these certain roles, you would honestly look at me and say, he's so shy, just because sometimes I do kind of tend to like close off and get super nervous and scared in certain situations. But I think something that really does help out is looking for those leadership opportunities and making sure you throw your hat in the ring to so many different volunteer or internship opportunities that are going to help you. Through that, at least that's what's really helped me develop some sense of public speaking and also not being so scared of the public. The confidence piece, though, that one's going to come within you in understanding how to really love yourself. Someone who I definitely look up to is RuPaul. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with them, but they're a host for a TV show, RuPaul's Drag Race. Love them. But really understanding, like, honing in on your strengths. Right now in graduate school, and I will tell you this, I suck at math. I am not your math wizard or any of that stuff. And I knew that going into my program, but did not know that I would need to take so many math courses. Right now, I'm taking budgeting. I took statistics last semester. And there's a lot of different things involved in that. But part of that confidence piece is really being able to understand your strengths, but also understanding your weaknesses. Even though we may not be the best at certain things, rely on your strengths. And so the reason why I'm telling you this is because recently we took a midterm and I told everyone, like, I know I'm going to bomb this because this is not my strengths. Fortunately, we did not bomb it. We earned a B. Thank you. Thank you. But really understanding what you're good at, what are your weaknesses, where do we need growth, and understanding that is going to give you so much perspective in the sense of where do you want to go with all of your own potential, and that's going to give you confidence and making sure you're also seeing yourself doing it. So if you want to do something, make sure you believe in it or else it's not going to work out. So I think that's something that's always have helped me at least be in those public spaces, being able to speak, and then making sure you're taking those opportunities to speak out and provide your own opinion. Because oftentimes, whether we like to believe it or not, people don't have that same opportunity to see our stories, and you want to make sure you're sharing your own story and your own insight because it might resonate with someone else. And again, you're providing that inspiration piece to someone else.
Awesome. That was all really valuable advice. Thank you, Miguel.
Ooh, Dr. Elizabeth, we're having issues hearing you.
How about now?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. I thought I could hit this button and unmute and it just muted me differently. Excellent. So along those same lines, I'm curious to know, public speaking is certainly one competency that you build through our program. What other, now that you've been out a few months, almost a year, what other competencies did you find that you developed in our program that have really served you well? And where did those come from, right? Is there certain activities that you did within the department or certain classes that helped develop those competencies?
So one class that really made a big difference that I catch myself paying a lot of attention to now is nonverbal communication. So we all see nonverbal communication so often. We are always using it, but it's not something you necessarily pick up on, whether it's what you're doing or what somebody else is doing. So that class really helped me to look at people differently and give a better understanding when somebody is having, say, a hard time or, going through something. Even if they're not verbally expressing that, you can see the nonverbal cues there. And I feel like that's really helped me to understand people better and really just see that, our words aren't the only way we communicate. It's that whole full body communication. And that just really helps with breaking the ice, getting to know people, and also kind of setting boundaries and understanding why people are the way they are, or, just kind of understanding that different way of communication is something that I've just definitely caught myself paying more acute attention to recently.
I cannot stress this enough, get involved. The communications department does give you this opportunity to start getting involved in all these different things. It's just a matter of you taking advantage of it. Something that's really coming close, if you haven't heard of it, is the ACT Human Rights Film Festival. When I was an undergrad, I did an internship with them and got to see the behind the scenes. But prior to that, I made it my goal to at least see one film each year to kind of expose me and my own perspectives. And I think the really cool thing about this is that these films are not just centered in the United States, but they also have subjects and categories from around the world. And when I was a freshman, the very first film I saw was The Queen of Ireland, and I got to understand a little bit more about LGBTQ issues in Ireland, which I had no idea, no clue about. And then the other cool thing was that they even brought the drag queen that was a part of the documentary to that film. And to me, that was just like mind blowing. And so I knew that I wanted to be a part of this. And I couldn't believe that it was something that our department was kind of in charge of. And then being able to see that and being a part of it definitely gave me a different perspective and opportunity to kind of branch out through there. So make sure you're getting involved, even if it's seeing a film, which I highly encourage you all to do. It's kicking off this Friday. Shameless plug. But make sure you definitely take that opportunity to either listen to speakers, reach out to your professors and see if they have those opportunities to kind of getting involved with them, whether that's volunteering or having an internship. Something else that I was able to do, so 2 other courses I'm going to mention to you. The Center for Public Deliberation. This class kind of gives you those skills to do a little bit more of that public speaking piece, but also really helps you understand members of the community and understanding how everyone comes together to kind of help create decisions and gives you understanding of how decision making basically works. And so I think I really enjoyed that class because it exposed me to the Fort Collins community, but also was teaching me skills that I could not only hone in for this specific course, but how was I able to apply to lots of different subjects and areas. So make sure you are also exploring that. And then I do know that our department also offers opportunities that are kind of like workshops. I'm not sure what they're called. So Professor Elizabeth, please correct me if I'm completely wrong, but I took a social media class, and it wasn't just like the fundamentals of like social media, but it challenged you to create your social media account. What was it for? Really helps you make that strategy plan on how to take it. Yes, the skill courses, take advantage of those. Those are going to help you so much. And I learned a lot through social media in that class. Obviously I know how to handle social media, but that class provided me a better insight, more goal oriented and strategy piece as a side hustle, which I encourage everyone to do. And this is something that I always thought about in my undergrad. So someone once told me, what's your career and what's your side hustle? And I'm like, oh, whoa, like what do you mean? What are you talking about? And so basically your side hustle is still like your passion and purpose, but it's not your full energy piece. And so something that I like to do on the side is I do work with a couple local Fort Collins businesses, and I like to run their social media accounts or give them some insight from what I learned from these courses. So that really helps me still kind of grow in that mindset and understand trends, but also really helps me still kind of be connected with the community while also still pursuing my own career. So that's my little side hustle on the side. So definitely helping develop that. But take advantage of these opportunities, as that's what's going to develop your skills and also give you better insight to your own career and what you want to develop. This department is so great in the sense that you're not only pursuing a communications degree, but it is so good at being able to give you that foundation of whatever you want to do with your career. I like to think of it, it's an easy degree to manipulate in the sense that it's going to be tailored for you. So think about it as your perfect outfit, and the communications department is just like, is really fitting well to your body just because it's helping you grow in those areas that you want to pursue.
That is a great metaphor, Miguel. I am going to run with that. Other questions?
Alexa, I know that you mentioned that you did a real estate program while you were at CSU, and I'm in the real estate minor at CSU, so I was wondering if you know anything about that.
So I actually did my real estate school completely separate from CSU. So I did an online program. It was like 168 hours of education, and then the two exams that the national and state exams that you have to pass. So I don't know much about the CSU's real estate minor, like I said, because I kind of did that congruent to my undergrad.
Okay, thank you.
I think that brings up a really good question, though. Can you all tell us about what minors you took and how you decided which minor to have, or a second major? I know that's can sometimes be a struggle for our students to figure out because there are so many different options.
Yeah, so I was a sociology minor, and I fell into that actually because I was majoring in sociology and psychology at Front Range. So I already had an associate's degree in both those fields. So once I transferred over to CSU, it was kind of seamless to just pick one of those to pursue fully. And sociology was something that just was always interesting to me. Obviously, being a communications major, I am really interested in people. So it was kind of cool to really learn more about people in groups and how people work and live. And yeah, so it was kind of just an easy choice since I already had my associates.
For me, it was really hard. I did not know necessarily if communications was the right fit for myself. And when I was a sophomore, I switched my major to political science because I was like, I don't think communications is going to give me what I'm necessarily looking for. And so I switched to political science for like a semester and then realized that this was not it. I'm coming back, come bring me back communications. And so I quickly understood like what I needed, what I wanted. And so kind of looking at minors, I was torn between a business minor and a legal studies minor. And so I, again, kind of really sat down and I talked a lot with professors. If any of you get the chance to take a class with Katie Gib, Gibbons, right?
Gibson.
Gibson, thank you. One of the best professors that I definitely had. She definitely helped me kind of understand a little bit more about my career goals and aspirations. And they really helped me understand that I kind of want to pursue a little bit more of like, again, the rhetorical agency piece. And so that's how I settled for legal studies. But I think the important piece here is making sure you're having conversations with professors, with your friends, and really understanding what you want to do. The way I saw it was that communications was leading me to kind of public relations track at the time, kind of thinking about what I wanted to do. And then legal studies was kind of preparing me to go to law school if I wanted to pursue that track. Something that I always tell people is, what is your next step? Obviously, you don't have to have it all figured out, but try and have anywhere between that 50 and 75% things figured out. If you don't know what that looks like, that's when you start reaching out. Don't be afraid. So many people are so scared of kind of like not knowing what to do, but it all starts by having a conversation, having that spark, and then you're going to be able to start figuring out what's the right minor for you that complements your major.
I think Katie's having some internet issues. Um, you talked about talking to people, right? And we've mentioned networks a few times. Beyond professors, were there ways that you all networked with people to like learn more about career paths, or were there ways that you reached out to alumni? What did that look like for you, or what do you wish you would have done?
I definitely wish I would have networked more. I came to CSU as a junior, so I, kind of got thrown in the middle where I didn't really know how to start networking because it felt like I was like this outsider that was like trying to penetrate this weird, like, I don't know, I just didn't know how to like really get into talking to more people beyond my professors, or getting into internships because I was working also. So I definitely wish I would have networked more. The people you'll meet in the communications department are amazing. I've met some of the like most genuinely amazing people in my life in this program. So I definitely wish I would have networked earlier and gotten kind of branched out and gotten to know more people and put myself out there more. Like Miguel was saying, it's really, a blessing to be able to meet all these people and work with professors and just branch out. And so, yeah, that's definitely, if I could go back and redo it, I would network more. And hopefully in my master's program, I'll be able to put myself out there and really do some things differently than I did the first time around.
Something that I will tell you is, do not settle just with what's around you. If you don't think it's accessible, you won't know unless you try. One of the best tools, and if you don't have one yet, definitely create one. LinkedIn is going to be one of your best friends in this search. I am dropping my LinkedIn there so you all could connect with me. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But LinkedIn, I think, was one of the tools that I really used in my undergrad to kind of understand what other people's kind of life routes were to get to their positions and where they are at. And through LinkedIn, I also kind of reconnected with a lot of different people that I met like while in high school or my freshman and sophomore year in college. And I really started navigating those paths and kind of touching base with them there. So something that I definitely recommend is making sure you're developing that LinkedIn. The other thing I want to tell you is your thank yous are going to take you so far, whether that is reaching out to your previous high school teachers that really helped you get to the point where you're at. Send them an email, say, hey, thank you so much for your teachings. This is what I'm doing now. And you're right there, you're creating that connection already that sometimes you feel like it has been lost. reach out to your professors that you previously had to let them know what you're working on and see if they're able to kind of help you out in that sense. As a graduate student now, I'm definitely learning a little bit more about that networking piece and kind of seeing the other graduate students that I'm with and really understanding their walks of life and their experience and talking to them. So when you get the chance in the near future, hopefully when we come back in person, reach out to other people in your classes, invite them to get coffee, talk a little bit more about those programs. In undergrad, as a really effective way, but some of you might find it silly, reach out to someone via Instagram. I know that I made some friends in our department through that. They somehow found my Instagram, messaged me like, hey, I seen you in class, like we should hang out. And I was like, oh, like this is a really cool way. And that's even those simplest things, that's a form of networking within your own peers. So definitely take advantage of those opportunities because again, this network is what's going to really help you support yourselves later on, whether that is career or professional or personal life advice, as people can provide you those 2 cents that sometimes we neglect to see.
I would love to hear if Taylor or Weston have more questions that they'd like to ask.
I'll be very honest. I've been answered a lot of the questions I could have had. They asked a lot of the same questions that they
Yeah,
did.
no, you're okay.
So I appreciate it though.
Can I provide you some more advice that I recently was
Go,
passed down by?
please.
So oftentimes, and it's going to come up in your classes, we're going to talk about that work and life balance. As students, you're going to learn about what does that student and career oriented and personal life balance. You're trying to balance all these things. And someone in the professional world finally told me that does not exist. And I'm like, I kind of realize that, but everybody talks about this real life world balance. And basically, what they were able to provide me is that you need to learn how to adapt your work and life schedule. And what they mean by that is find ways that is going to work effectively for you within work. So what are you learning in work that you're able to apply to your personal life that's going to make that effective? And what do you do in your personal life that could make work more effective? So identifying those key features, it's what's going to provide you that sustainability to kind of keep pushing forward and succeeding in your own life. And then to me, that kind of gave me a click of like, oh my God, I'm not striving to find that balance anymore because we're learning how to combine those two worlds and work and roll with it. So I don't know, someone that I kind of did not know would tell me this did, and it was just like groundbreaking to me. So something that I'm telling you all is that make sure you're finding effective ways to live both lives to help you continue moving forward. Because if you strive to find that balance, you're going to be stuck there for a while. So find effective ways to push you and work effectively.
Thank you, Miguel. I always think of it as a negotiation between the two because the balance is a myth, right? It's a unicorn that you can look for forever. Um, and I also am a firm believer that there are seasons in your life, right? So in some seasons, work might take more, and in some life might take, not that work isn't life, but your personal life might take more. And you, it's an ebb and flow, right? But I love that, thinking about what tools you're using in your personal life that can make your work life more effective and vice versa. I would love to just kind of give you both a moment to offer any final advice or any final words of wisdom you might have. And I'm going to encourage my students, both those that are here and those who couldn't join us today that'll watch this video later, to make sure that they do find you on LinkedIn and connect with you, because this is a moment to build those networks that we talked about. We actually talked about in class last time. So I appreciate you both kind of delivering that message again. Getting the message from someone other than the professor can be really valuable sometimes. So I'm going to give you both just a few minutes to take us home.
I would just have to say, enjoy it. Enjoy every moment because it goes by really fast. And getting into the real world is, it's way different than being a college student. So I would just really take your time, enjoy your classes, really make an effort to absorb the information that's coming at you, because I would love to just sit through all the classes I've taken again, because the information that you're getting is so very valuable and will make just the biggest difference in your life. So really just realize what a great opportunity it is to be in the communications department. And really, your professors are all so very knowledgeable and supportive. So just really take them, use your professors as a tool, and then just enjoy your time and really try to soak up every moment.
Echoing everything that Alexa just shared with you all, definitely make sure you are striving and being the best versions that you could be within yourselves in this department. As I mentioned before, think about it as the perfect outfit that's going to be tailored just for you. This is basically what the major is going to do for you. And you want to make sure that that outfit is going to make you stand out in whichever room you're walking in. So in that sense, making sure you're relying on those networks, finding opportunities to kind of build upon. And also, no opportunity is a small opportunity. If you think you could balance it and you want to explore it, give it a shot. You never know where that might take you, and also provide you that social capital that you might have otherwise never gained. So definitely explore and be curious about different situations. Make sure you're reaching out to your professors. Making sure you're also reaching out to the alumni that kind of come and talk to you. At least that's something that really helped me understand a little bit more about myself. So all of you right now are doing a really great job at kind of being involved in these situations and being able to push forward and building, again, your social capital. Do not stop dreaming big. Manifest it, and you never know what's going to happen. So make sure you are thinking about those goals, what's that looking like, and also enjoy it. We all make mistakes, and that's definitely okay. But the important piece here is, what are we learning and how can we grow from that and become better? So if we have a little bump in the road, do not beat yourself up on it. Learn from it, move on, and you are going to be a better person. So take advantage of everything that they are throwing your way. Do not dodge it, but if you're able to catch one of those opportunities, make the best of it.
Thank you so much. I hope you both know how proud we are of you, and we know that you entered the job force at a difficult time, and you're doing great things, and we're really, really proud of that. So thank you for your time. Taylor and Weston, thanks for being here today. I'm going to send you all a message about next steps and what we'll be doing next week, but I just thank you all so much. Take good care.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming and talking to us. I appreciate you guys taking the time off of you're out of school, so you have no reason to come back. So we just appreciate you guys coming back again to talk to us.
Thank you guys.
Awesome. All right. Take care.